All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack the fascinating and honestly kind of hidden history behind a mundane daily routine that so many of us literally just take for granted. We're looking at the razor. We'll be tracing its incredible journey from a crude survival tool to the highly engineered piece of daily convenience sitting next to your sink right now.
So, I really want you to stop and think about this for a second. Why do millions of us willingly drag sharp steel across our faces every single morning? When you phrase it like that, it sounds like a bizarre, almost visceral reality, right? But this modern habit is deeply connected to human hygiene, culture, and most importantly, survival. Today, I'm going to show you how a frankly terrifying, deadly necessity slowly evolved into a completely safe, accessible, everyday habit.
Section 1. The danger of the blade. To truly understand how far we've come, we've got to look back at the earliest eras of human grooming. And trust me, back then, it was way less about looking sharp for a meeting and a whole lot more about just surviving the experience. We're talking primitive tools used before 3000 BCE, sharpened flintstones, seashell edges, obsidian blades, which is naturally sharp volcanic glass, by the way, and literal shark teeth. Now, just imagine scraping a shark tooth across your jawline. No thanks, right? But early humans weren't doing this for fashion. Archaeological finds show they endured this to survive. Scraping away hair meant fewer parasites like lice, and it made it significantly easier to handle intensely hot climates. It was crude for sure, but it got the job done. Now, as centuries passed, the tools shifted from stone to metal, but the danger, that didn't really go away. By the time we hit the Middle Ages, we enter the wild era of the barber surgeon. For hundreds of years, getting a proper shave wasn't something you did half asleep in your own bathroom. You visited a professional. And get this professional didn't just shave you. This exact same person might also perform surgery, conduct bloodletting, or literally pull your aching teeth out. That dual profession is actually exactly why the iconic barber pole has red and white stripes. It symbolizes blood and bandages. It really highlights the extreme skill and the extreme risk involved in taking an early iron straight razor to the neck. So let's track the major metallurgical leaps that totally changed the game. An absolutely crucial turning point happens in 1740. That's when Benjamin Huntsman developed crucible steel over in Sheffield, England. This completely revolutionized razor production, leading to these hollow-ground straight razors that were stronger, lighter, and incredibly sharp. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. While the steel itself was way better, the straight razor was still unbelievably dangerous. You either needed a master professional's touch or tremendous personal skill just to avoid slicing your face open. It really wasn't until 1901, and then much later in the 1960s with stainless steel, that everyday consumers truly gained control of their own shave.
Section 2. The Safety Razor Revolution. Now, what's really interesting here is this exact pivot point in the 20th century. This is when the inherent, everyday danger of the cutthroat blade was finally solved for the average person. The contrast is just stark. Think about the traditional straight razor. It required constant maintenance, endless stropping and sharpening. It was highly skill-intensive and obviously carried a super high risk of cuts. Then compare that to the safety razor. It was remarkably easy to use at home, vastly safer by design, and best of all, it featured replaceable blades. You didn't have to be a trained barber surgeon to use it. This brilliant solution literally removed the anxiety from the morning shave. And it all traces back to this single year, 1901. This is the massive breakthrough moment when King C. Gillette invented the safety razor with disposable blades. 1901 is the year the concept of shaving fundamentally shifted. It moved away from being a highly dangerous professional service into an accessible, mass-market, at-home routine. Gillette basically conjured up an entirely new consumer market almost overnight, but as with any great invention, it usually takes a massive, unexpected catalyst to actually change human behavior on a global scale.
Section 3. World War I as catalyst. So how did this brand new grooming product suddenly end up in the hands of millions of men who were honestly perfectly happy with their big beards or just visiting their local barber? Well, a global conflict forced the issue. Let's walk through the grim reality of trench warfare step by step. Step 1. The absolute horrors of World War I introduced chemical warfare, meaning soldiers suddenly had to wear gas masks to survive. Step 2. For a gas mask to actually work and save your life, it needed a completely airtight seal against the skin. Step 3. Facial hair physically prevented that seal from forming. Which brings us to Step 4. The military mandated daily shaving and orchestrated the mass distribution of safety razors to soldiers. Almost overnight, a clean shave transformed from a mark of high society style into a literal matter of life and death.
And this just brilliantly illustrates a super common theme throughout human history. Wartime necessity becomes peacetime habit. When World War I and later World War II finally ended, millions of guys returned home from the front lines, but they didn't leave those little razors behind. They brought this newly mandated daily shaving habit right back to civilian life, completely and permanently altering global grooming standards in the process. The modern, at-home shaving routine was officially locked in.
Section 4. The Modern Shaving Era. Let's fast forward to the present day and check out the massive, high-tech consumer market that this wartime catalyst eventually built. Once the safety razor was firmly established, companies started fiercely competing to improve blade sharpness, comfort, and durability. Look at these post-war innovations. Boom, the 1960s hit and stainless steel blades arrive, finally giving us rust-resistant, totally hygienic, longer-lasting edges. Then electric shavers hit the scene, offering lightning-fast grooming without even needing water or foam, which was a total game-changer for sensitive skin. And by the late 20th century, we see the rise of cartridge systems. Suddenly, this basic safety tool morphed into an advanced gadget featuring 2, 3, or even 5 blades, pivoting heads, lubrication strips, the whole shebang. When we look at our current grooming landscape, we've got a few main players. Cartridge razors, absolutely incredibly convenient and user-friendly, but man, they come with a hefty ongoing cost and generate a ton of plastic waste. Then we have electric shavers, super quick, packed with smart features like skin sensors, but they definitely have a much higher upfront cost. And then, check this out. Look at the classic safety razor. It boasts incredible eco-friendliness and long-term cost-effectiveness with just a slight learning curve. It's actually incredibly ironic, isn't it? As our environmental awareness grows today regarding plastic-free packaging and reusable metals, we're seeing a massive market revival of the exact same safety razor style that started the entire revolution well over a century ago.
Which really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. From scraping by with sharp stones and shark teeth, to the genuinely risky blades of the barber surgeons, into the muddy trenches of World War I, and all the way to today's smart sensors and eco-friendly metals. As our sustainability priorities and fashion trends continue to shift, how will this ancient tool evolve next? It really just goes to show you that even the simplest, most boring items sitting in your bathroom cabinet have a profound hidden history behind them. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you on the next one.